Then the familiar sensations begin. Is it possible to enter a world of sleep, and then awake in your dreams? This seems to be the only way to describe the feelings I experience whenever I return to this time and place. How is it that I can be surrounded by people I've never met and yet feel so comfortable about my surroundings? At this moment I find myself accompanied by the armory captain and his unusually large friend. Together we are standing outside the doors to the king's court. Standing there listening. I can hear a lot of unrest as the assembly of ministers discussed my presence among the king's subjects. It seems the voice of those calling for my death or imprisonment is growing. And the voices of those who once sided with me and His Majesty's wishes are becoming mute. My friends in the palace have been warning me about the shift in opinion regarding my relationship with the king and his loyal followers. But today I've come here with a purpose. With the hope of taking some of the pressure of His Majesty, I've decided to relinquish my armor and weapons and give them to him as a gift to the people. It is my hope, that by disarming myself, that those who might be in fear of me would be put at ease and would no longer seek my death. The door to the assembly hall now opened as we entered carrying my armor and finely crafted weapons. As we passed through the ministers of the court, I became overwhelmed with the feeling that my gesture will fall short of its intended outcome. A vast number of the ministers' faces showed contempt for my very presence here. As we came before the throne we were approached by some of the king's royal guards. The first one blocking our path, staring at us intently. "You cannot enter before the king carrying any sort of weapon," he said. I dropped to one knee and offered my swords to the man blocking my path. "I am here today to offer up my weapons and armor to His Majesty and his people as a goodwill gesture. From this day forward, I will not raise my sword against another man unless you, Your Majesty, ask me to do so." The king motioned for his royal guard to bring my swords to him. Taking one in his hand, he drew the blade and studied it carefully. His expression lightened as he moved the blade back and forth, getting a feel for its balance. Holding it up before the court, he began to speak. "This is the most brilliantly crafted weapon I have ever seen. The workmanship is stunning. The way it feels in my hand makes me feel invincible. I will accept your gift on behalf of our people, and I will take you at your word that without my consent, you will not raise a weapon against another man." Immediately after finishing his statement, there were murmurings from the members of the royal court. Some of them even fell to their knees asking him to take back his words. At that the king raised his hand high, indicating he wished for silence so he could address the court. "I've heard your petitions and your testimony about why you want to remove this man from among us, and yet you have failed to convince me that he is anything less than one of my most loyal subjects. I have my suspicions that this is what you fear most. Not what he is capable of, but the strength of his loyalty to me and to our people." With those words, the court fell completely silent. The king then motioned for his royal guard to gather the rest of my armor as my friends handed over the remaining pieces. "Thank you for this fine gesture," he said. "I will accept this on behalf of our people. But you must go now. Something tells me I will have to clarify a few points about today's events so that those in attendance will understand the intent of my will on this matter." Bowing low, we accepted His Majesty's orders and left quickly. As we exited the assembly hall, the eunuch closed the door behind us. The armory captain smirked as he looked my way, saying, "Well, that didn't go exactly as I had expected." Then the quiet giant made a slight snorting sound as if he was trying to hold back laughter. Of course, this just made us laugh even harder. As I began my long journey home, the armory captain asked if he could join me. Of course, I accepted his offer for the company. It made the time on the walk home pass quickly. Along the way, we spoke about many things, but I could tell he was holding something back. Finally, I asked him directly about his concerns. "The king is a really good man," he said, "but I have seen him give in to the pressures of the court. I have seen him take action against his better judgments in an effort to appease the people. Unfortunately, the will of the people is often the byproduct of the court minister's manipulation." Again, trying to get to the root of his concern, I asked another probing question. "What is it that you are really afraid of? You cannot hold yourself responsible for the king's decisions." He again responded by saying, "My fear is this. If he decides to have you put to death, he will ask me to do it." His words stopped me dead in my tracks. What a heavy burden to carry. I reached over and put my hand on his shoulder, offering a warm smile, and reassured him. "I would be honored to have you be the one. I would not hold you responsible. Do not burden yourself with such feelings of guilt." Our conversation was interrupted by the sound of a young boy calling out to me. "Uncle! Uncle, you are home!" As he ran to my side, I lifted him up from the ground to embrace him. He always seemed so happy to see me. As he wrapped his small arms around my neck, I closed my eyes, momentarily enjoying the moment. But when I reopened my eyes, my surroundings had once again changed.